tutorial by Harla Penguin. My name is Norm and I will be your host. So here at Harla Penguin, we've been working on a series, and the intent of the series is to do a fun little car promo. Over the next couple of weeks, we will take you through a couple of different phases in the creation process, starting from the creation of the scene in Blender, through final touch-up in After Effects, and rendering. Today, we are going to focus on setting up the scene in Blender. And one of the first challenges that we ran into is the car, the most important, the star of this show. Now, certainly, this problem would be easier if we were good at modeling, but unfortunately, we're not. So we have to rely on other models. As we were looking around, we found a really great model from TurboSquid. And what makes this model really great is it's free. So we were very excited, download the model, great. We go to import it into Blender. Scale this down so we can see it. And then render. We don't even have to finish to see that we get a model with some weird colors. So I thought, fine, I'll try one of the other options. If you look at it, there are a number of options that are available. FBX, I just showed you OBJ, 3ds Max. But unfortunately, if you do the ones that Blender will accept, OBJ, and then if you try FBX, it's a version that Blender does not accept. So what we thought we'd do is with this first one, we'll show how can you take a model like this without the materials and apply really, really great materials and end up with an image like this. All right, so let's get started. Let's go ahead and split this area. Let's split this again, and I'll show you how we are going to use each of these. I'm going to use this top one as a rendered view. So this looks really bright, and one of the ways that we can have more control of the lighting is by turning off these. All right, next, on this layer, I'm going to add some lights. I'm going to scale that. And for this one, we are going to use, and I want this one to be emission. And I'll make the color slightly orange. I'm going to set it up as 50 for now. I'll duplicate that, rotate, and let's make this one actually 25, just for a little bit of contrast. All right, so we have basic lighting. We can play with this a little bit more after we get the material set. So next step, let's start working on this. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to work on the car body. This is the main part. I will delete the material that's there, create a new material, and I'm going to delete the diffuse and add a principled shader. Now the principled shader is new to Blender version 2.79, and if you want to learn more about it, I will provide a link to this, but there is a great page on the Blender website which even gives examples of all of the different settings. So for this, we want it to look like a car. So we're going to set the base color to sort of a reddish purple color. Maybe make it a little bit darker. And I'm going to significantly increase the metallic. Now I'm going to decrease the specular, which makes it a little bit more in focus. I'm going to decrease the roughness. And again, you can see that reflection. I'm going to increase the clear coat. Let's see if add a little bit of sheen to it as well. All right, and the clear coat just gives it a little bit more depth. So that looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit more red and a little bit lighter. All right, great. So we're off to a good start. Next, let's work on the window. Again, we'll delete the existing one. We'll add a new one. And for this, we want the glass shader. I also, if you look at this, you can see that the quads. So let's go ahead and create some smooth shading on that. I also want to help us a little bit with the render times. So I'm going to add a transparent and a mix shader. We will have a light path input. And we're going to use a math node set to add, and we will actually add 2 of these. And for this, we want to use a few of these options in light path. So if the light path is from a shadow ray or a diffuse ray or from a glossy ray, then we want to treat this as transparent. If instead it's directly from the camera, then we want to treat it like glass. And this will just help us a little bit with the rendering. All right, so we can also quickly do this. And while we are going, let's go ahead and name this material as glass. And we will go ahead and do the same for the back window. Delete the current one. We will smooth it and select glass as the new material. I wish that I could do that for this window, but unfortunately this window is connected to the entire door. So we'll have to map out certain parts of this, apply body to part of it and glass to another part. So let's work on some more of the easy parts. We will also use the glass for the front light. Okay, next we want to work on the metallic pieces. So we'll select this front piece, delete the existing one, create a new node, and we're going to again select the principal shader. We want the base to be like a gray. I'm going to do 0.225, 0.225, 0.225. Maybe a little bit lighter than that. We're going to again turn the metallic way up. Make specular down just a little bit. We're going to leave the roughness at 0.5. And I will apply this to the hubcaps. I'm also going to apply it to some of these detail pieces. All right, let's take a look. All right, so next, let's work on this front grille. Delete the current one, create a new one, and we'll call this one black. Again, going to add the principal shader. Create a black color, just a little bit metallic. Keep the specularity at 0.5. Turn the sheen to 0.25-ish. Add just a little bit of a clear coat to it. Okay. Then we can see a little bit of purple around the edge here. Let's try to select that. And we're also going to apply the black to that. And up here, the top of the car, we got the windshield wipers, but that's okay. Select the black for that. And we will apply black to this. All right. So next, let's go ahead and get the tires. And for the tires, we'll create a new material. And we want the tires to be have a little bit of gloss to them. So for this, we're going to increase the sheen to almost 0.5. We'll put the spec at 0.3. And we'll apply that to the rear tire as well. We need to start hiding some pieces that we don't need. So let's go ahead, and the way that we can do this is if we select a piece we don't want, we're going to press H, which will allow us to hide it. And then if we want that piece back, we'll just press Alt H. So let's hide. So on this piece, we'll go ahead and make this one black. And then hide it. This piece we will also make black. And then hide it. For the dashboard, I'm going to delete all of these. Give it a black steering wheel. We will apply the black for now. Certainly feel free to amend this. Let's just make sure that all of that is selected. Looks like it is. Not that we can see this in our render, but we'll apply some. All right, now for the seats, we're going to start off with the black, but I actually want this, I want to make this its own copy because I want to modify this. So I'm going to click this where we have 10 here, and I'm going to put seat. And what I want to do is I want to make these seats a little bit more glossy. So I'm going to add a mix shader and a glossy. And that's a little bit much. So let's turn that down just a little bit. Now on the rear lights, let's delete that. Let's select the glass. But again, I'm going to make it its own copy, and I'll call this brake light. And I just want to tint it a little bit. More of a red look to it. All right, so let's take a look. It's looking pretty good. So that really just leaves us with the doors, which I saved for last because this is the toughest and most time-consuming part of this. So we're going to keep track of this, and what we have is we have door left and we have door right. So we are going to hide everything, and for now I'm just going to go over here. We're going to hide everything and then unhide the door left. I'm going to switch into edit mode, and what I will have to do is select different pieces of this door and apply different textures to different pieces. So the first part I'm going to select is the window, and what we will have to do is select the window on both sides and make it glass on both sides. So I press C and I'm going to start selecting. And I'm going to speed this up because this is just a time-consuming task. we're going to select the glass, and I am going to assign these to the glass. Now the next part, I'm going to create a new material. We're going to call this one the mirror, and this is the easiest one to select. I will just select that one, assign that to mirror, and for this one, I'm going to add just a glossy, make it sharp. All right. So let's check that that one's correct. Now, one thing that you can do if you want to be able to see the different parts of the car here without having it rendered, you can apply colors just for this viewport. So for instance, if I wanted to apply a blue, and that gives me just a quick view of what have we applied it to. And we will apply the mirror. We'll take the same approach. So we will assign that to the glass. All right, great. So now we have our materials applied. One other piece that I want to add, and this is a great new feature of Blender 2.79, one that's been talked about quite a bit, is the shadow catcher. And what this means is I can have this plane, and I can make this plane so it is only a shadow catcher, which means the plane itself is not visible, but the shadow is. And that gives just a great look. It makes it look like there's no background and yet it's casting a shadow. Let's render. And to render this, I'm going to set it up to 250 samples. I'm going to reduce some of these light paths. I'm going to make it a 0. And we'll do 8. Let's go. There we have the render. So certainly there are some things that we could do. Right now it does look a little bit fake, so we can modify this car body a little bit, maybe a little bit on the metal, but you have the general picture. So with this, now we will use this in our future tutorials where we will show how to move the car and cause the tires to turn, and then we'll take it into After Effects to create our final video. So thank you for watching. Let us know what you think about this video and if there are any other tutorials you might like to see.